today, guys. Sorry for yesterday. I was a little sick, so I couldn't take the class.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling now?
Islam. Yeah, I'm fine a little bit. Okay.
Good. That's fine.
Did you guys get my email on the DOS comment?
I did now.
DOS comments?
I also didn't get the email.
Yeah, I didn't get any.
No one got it?
No.
No.
I did send last week.
We just got the which one? Like about the Outlook, that one?
About Outlook and the DOS comment, two of them.
Oh yes, yes, we did. Yes.
You guys
Sorry,
got it,
sorry
right?
about
Those two.
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did not get any email.
You
I
didn't
don't get any email.
So only Polly got. Farooq Khan, you got it?
You send it in my what do you call
Your Outlook.
Outlook?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't send the Outlook. I don't need it that much. Hold on.
Oh, you didn't, but you gave me that email address. That's why I sent it on that. So give me your proper email address, then I'll send it again maybe. So
Yeah,
Toha didn't get it. Right?
Farooq at USA.com.
Oh, just text me that. I won't
Okay.
remember. Toha didn't get it, right?
No, I don't get it, anything.
Your email address what? chemistry@gmail.com?
Chemistry.usa
Chemistry.usa.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, I got it right here. Subject testing the 7th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Now I just opened the Outlook. I have it here.
Hassan, did you get it?
No, yeah, I didn't get it till now.
And Arman, did you get it?
I did not get any email from the beginning.
Yours has a Raz Arman, right?
Yeah, Rajarman 2012 at gmail.com.
2012. Okay. Gotcha for Toha. For okay, I'll send it again today. Can you just text me your email address, Arman and Hassan?
Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure.
Arman and Hassan, can you send me the email address? Text me the email address.
Okay.
Okay. So today we are going through the module 5, which is HTML and XML. Anyone knows what is the HTML?
Internet files.
Okay, before going to the XML, who knows what is a web server? Why do you need a web server?
Web
Anyone?
server, what do you like save all the website files and stuff. The whole website stored in a server. So we can access them on any from our computer.
Yeah, so web server is a computer which is a high-end computer, not like like your laptop or desktop. It's a high-end server. It has a lot of memory, a lot of space where every files has been kept. So if you're doing like google.com, you're searching that Google website, all the google.com, the website files are kept in that server, Google server. So here is a web browser, there is internet and there is a web server. So when you are sending a request, google.com, it takes the request and it through the internet, it send the request to the server. And when the server gets the request, it responds to back to your web browser again. So in that way, you can see the google.com. So your machine is running a web browser. Maybe it can be a Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox. Through the web browser, your browser connects to the server and requests a page. And then the server sends back the request page from the server, which is server machine running the web server. So web server is nothing but is a simple computer that stores, processes, and delivers websites files to the web browser. And it consists of the hardware and software, because there is a hardware component, and also it has some softwares through which it's communicated to your client of the browser. That is called, that software that is used in the web server is called HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, to respond to your web server request from the anywhere in the world. So there's the software the web server used to get the request and response back to your browser. And this process is load and deliver the request page to the user browser like Google Chrome or Firefox. And web server also use simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP, and a file transfer protocol, FTP, to process files or email or storage. So SMTP or FTP protocol that used for any files you are trying to download or upload, or any email you are sending, or anything you want to kept in the web server. For that, they use those protocols. So we have HTTP protocol, we have file transfer protocol, FTP, and we have SMTP protocol. What is the protocol? Anyone have any idea? What do you mean by protocol? Polly, do you know what is protocol?
It's like privacy or protection, your information.
No. Toha?
Protocol means to combine and aspect the file.
No. Farooq Khan, any idea? Hassan?
Never really read through it.
Sorry.
Protocol is like security type.
Arman? No, it's not security.
Okay.
No,
So protocol is a
Procedure,
actually a
system.
procedure or set of rules. Like if you go to the office, right? Office has some protocols. Like you have to wear your tie or coat.
Yes.
You have to wear a proper dress. There's a protocol, official protocol, right? In the same way, a computer has a protocol, the way it connect to each other, talk to each other, send and receive the request response. So there are several protocols through which the computer can communicate each other and transfer the data, take the request, and send the response back to the computer. Okay. So what is a web server made of? So web server is as I said, like it's a hardware side. You have a web server which connect to the internet and enables the exchange of data or file between the other devices that are connected to that network. In this can be kind of different forms such as like HTML files, image, JavaScript files or CSS files. And also web server stores web server software, which is different protocols within the web server. So there's the hardware part, but what it controls the hardware is the software. So web server software controls how the web server user access the files. It consists of several components like HTTP server, which have like HTTP software that to understand this request and the URLs. So how does the web server works? Any idea
Website?
how the web server works? How it works?
Website is like, yeah, it has a domain name and they have
Not
those,
website, web server.
the server.
Yeah, how it works.
Like you just explained a little bit ago, like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we use computer, like through the we request something through the internet, and it receives the internet, and then it delivers the request through the internet again to us. That's the web server.
yeah. So it's like pretty simple steps. Like through the browser, you send the request.
Mhm.
Through the HTTP software protocol, it takes the request and process the request in the web server, and then web server sends back the request to the web client, web browser. And that's how you get the outcome. So web server is a client server model because you have a client and you have a server who serves and client who requests. So it's a client server module. It's a distributed module. It's not like a desktop computer, like only one computer. It can have like several computers connected to the network. So the process of the web client request like web servers, like if there are like a few steps. So when a web user he wants to load the website content to the web browser request, they send the request and this called through HTTP request. And web browser looks for the request website IP address by translating the URL to web page via the domain name server. So DNS is a domain name system or domain name server. So when you're writing like google.com, it takes the request, it gives to the DNS server to find out where that page is located or where the files are located, in which server, by searching through its cache. So this process locates the web server where the site's files are hosted. And then the web server receives the HTTP request and processes it through the HTTP server. Once the HTTP server accepts the request, it will search through the server files to obtain the relevant data. So whenever you're sending the request, it will go through different servers. Maybe the server, one of the server in the USA, one of the server in Malaysia, they have one of the server in the Italy. So it send request to all of the servers that I need this information. And those servers take this request and they search through it. So maybe the files are in the Italy server. So other server will send back request that we don't have any kind of a file like that, which you are looking for. And then the Italy server will send back that we found that information what you're looking at, and it send back the information to the web browser. So you can see that google.com, it's coming on your computer. So after that, the web server runs the site files, the web browser that sends the request, then the web user sees the website content. And that's how you see the web content in your computer. However, if the HTTP server fails to find the process, the requested files, it responds to the web browser with an error message. So if none of the server have your google.com site, it will give you the error message. It's most common like 404 error or 403 error. It will show you. So 404 error means it's a common error, like maybe the file is not there. What you're looking for information, the information not there in the server. And 403 error is a permission issue error. Maybe the file is there, but you don't have enough permission to access that files or view the contents. On the other hand, if the web browser fails to receive the timely response from another server acting as a proxy or gateway, 504 error occurs. So this kind of 504 error occurs when you send the response, but when they send the package to the DNS server, maybe it didn't reach on time. So on the way, the packet got lost in the network. So your request actually didn't reach through your DNS server. So when that happens, it will give you 504 error. Means that the response time is outdated. It didn't get the request on timely manner. Means that the network data is lost within the network. So these are the common errors you will see for this kind of issues. Any question?
Is it the 504 happens because our computer is slow or their server is slow?
It can be either way. Maybe your computer is slow, maybe the network is too busy to send a data packet to the server, or maybe server is too busy to send the response back to your browser. Either way, it can happen.
Okay.
So whenever the data is lost within the server, it will give you 504 error. Means like timely response, its server was failed. It didn't get the timely response, or it didn't send the timely response back to your browser.
But information is there.
Information is there, yeah. But when it's carrying the information back to your browser, it has a packet, right? It has a kind of like mail envelope inside you have a contents. So that envelope may be lost while sending you the data packet within the network.
Oh.
So you didn't receive it, but the actual content is in the server is there still. So that is through like gateway or proxy server. You can use proxy server or gateway. Gateway is like through which route it's sending you the data, or which route it's accepting your request. That's called gateway. So there's a different gateway numbers. It has like 8088, something like that. And proxy server is another server, which is a mirror of an actual server. So there is two server. One of these is the main server. Whatever main server you have, the other server, proxy server, have the same thing. It's a mirror of that server, same copy. So sometime in that way, like if the main server is like not up, still you can access the information from the proxy server because it has the same copy. And when you use the proxy server, the contents you are accessing is much faster because you don't need to go to the main server and look for that information, because it can go through the proxy server and get the information, which is called cache. Like if you access google.com or yahoo.com first time, it will go through the main server and try to find the information and show you. But once you're done, that information already hatched and kept in your proxy server. So next time when you're doing the google.com, you don't need to go to the web server and search for that, because it's also already have any proxy server. It can take it from there faster and give it to back. Clear? Any question?
Yeah, good.
The server can be a static or dynamic web server. So a static server, the server can be serve static or dynamic content. A static web server consists of a computer and HTTP software. It sends a website files back to the web browser without any changes. So, like if you are trying to get a information, just a homepage of a google.com, when you send a request, it's response back with the actual content. Nothing changes. It will show you what is the home page look like of the Google. Whereas the dynamic is, it might give you the same page, or it might give you different, little bit different content. Like it consists of a static web server plus extra software. The additional software most commonly consists of an application server and database. So dynamic web server essential update hosted files before delivering them via the HTTP server. This enables us to generate and send dynamic content of the web browser. So like if you're trying to do a booking a ticket and you're getting the confirmation number. So that is a dynamic. When you get the response, you'll get a different, everyone get a different number, confirmation number. So that content is a dynamic, and that's because of that dynamic web server acting. So information is not same. Everyone getting different information every time you are booking the ticket. And confirmation number is system generated. Clear, guys? Any doubt? No?
No, we are good. I'm good.
Okay. So web server features. What are the web server features? So aside from supporting HTTP protocol to process incoming request and response, most web servers offer the following standard features like file logging, authentication, bandwidth limiting, and storage space. Those are the common features of the web server. What is file logging? So whenever the file log means like error logs. So web server keeps the log file where all the things are it's getting the response and giving back the response. It logs all the things on that log file. So if you open the log file, you can see what are the activities it's did during the day or during a certain time. And if there is any error thrown, it also logged in the error file. So if you open the error file, you can see the history of that web server activities. There is file logging. Authentication. So many server offer is the feature before primary partially means like if you're logging to some other site, it tells you to put your username and password. Before it gives you any content, it will tell you to authenticate who you are. So that's the authentication means like protection. Without a username and password, you cannot get any content from that web server. Bandwidth limiting. The bandwidth is what? Like it's a speed. How much response? What is the response time and what is the request time? So if web server bandwidth is the amount of data it can transfer or process at any given time. Bandwidth limiting controls the speed of response to ensure that the network is not over saturated and can deliver files smoothly. So if you're using like 100 Mbps network speed and you're trying to upload or download a huge file which have lots of graphic images, your download will be very slow. It might be your computer can crash, like it might stuck without doing anything because it cannot handle that kind of content with limited bandwidth.
So if we have a lot of visitors in a website, you need a lot of bandwidth, right?
Yes, even though like if a server is having, let's say like one terabyte speed, And if the visitors are more than that, continuously they are requesting, right? So it can crash. So your bandwidth should be like enough level that it can handle it. So those are we call like load testing, load and performance testing. So those will come on the when we'll go to the testing side and we can understand those things. So every server, they need to do the load and performance testing before they put it in the market or they put it in the website. They have to test through those things to see that it can survive or not in the heavy load when it's everyone is like trying to get the request and response. So bandwidth is another major feature for the web server. And storage space, and it refers to the amount of disk space available to store files, which determine whether a web server can host a website. So if your website need lots of information, you need a lot of storage to store all the information on the web server so people can get information from website. Okay. And the web server also include the other three essential elements such as like programming language. It can have like different programming language run on the web server. So you can, let's say like you're trying to develop a program and execute in the server, right? So if you don't have that programming language installed in the server, you cannot log into the server and write that program. So those programs like C program, if you're writing any program in the C program should be loaded in the server. If you're doing Python should be loaded in the server. So you can go on the server and then write the program. Otherwise, you cannot do that. So programming language is also a essential part of the web server. It is also known as the server-side scripting language, like PHP, JavaScript. Those are like CGI. Those are like server scripting language, server side. Those are installed in the server to access all kind of a programming language from the server. Uptime, server uptime tracks the amount of time web server is functional and can process requests to deliver files. It also affects when the hosted website is operational, known as website uptime. And the industry standard is 99% guarantee. So uptime is like it's a request and response time the server should handle to manage your request and response. And whenever the industry like base is 99.9 should be uptime for the server. Any server in the market, it should be like a 99.9 guarantee that you'll get the information when you're trying to search the information on the web. Any question? So why do we use a web server? Anyone?
Web server store the websites.
Okay.
Yeah, the host, right?
Yeah, so
Transfer
we
the
have,
files.
yeah, you can, it hosts the files, it stores the files, it processes your response, request, and response back. So there are three primary uses like host multiple website or web application. It processes your request through the FTP, file transfer protocol, and it sends and receives the emails also, which is used the SMTP protocol. So web server hosts websites so that they can accessible on the internet. And this is why the web server features and functions focus on creating and maintaining a hosting environment. So this is one reason do you use the web server, because you can get the information from anywhere in the world through the net. If you want to create and publish a website, you will need to access the web server. And the most convenient way to do is through the web hosting. So web hosting, what is the web hosting? Anyone have any idea? Web hosting?
Web hosting, like you hire a company to store your website, like all the files and everything.
Yeah, so web hosting is
Like
a place, right? So it's like storage system. So you might, yes, so you might not have a, I mean, you can also use one computer as a web server. You can make that. But normally what happens, the companies like GoDaddy or Blue Host, all these companies, they are like hosting company, means like they have created a web server where people can store their files. And they have also backup server. So if main server crashes, there are like several backup servers that has a similar copy, mirror of that main server. So if any of the server crashes, the other servers are still up, so people still can get the information. So it is like a huge setup where they set up all these backup servers, DNS server, web server, application server, database server, all this. So that is a web hosting. Web hosting means like where you store your files. So web hosting is a service that provides your website the server space to store its files, asset, and database. Not only that, but a web hosting provider's role is also to ensure server runs seamlessly. It involves performing backup, caching, security monitoring, and general maintenance. So they also need to maintain their security. They have to monitor. They have to perform backups also, like backup server. So they every day or every certain of time, the backups runs and it takes all the backups from the main server to the backup server to keep the your files safe. So they can have like multiple servers in multiple places in the world, because you might, one of the server might crash or destroy. So if it is destroyed, it's the information is gone. So they can retrieve from the other server. So normally they kept like in different places, not in one place. The backup server may be in one place, the main server may be one other place. Clear, guys? Any question?
No, thank you.
Okay, there are some benefits to having a web host monitor and maintenance web server where your website is hosted. That includes like optimal uptime and performance, secure servers, various hosting plan option, cost effective and flexible. So that companies, the companies, web server companies, they have like different plans, like cost effective, like how much space you need to host your web service. Based on the space, they fix the cost. They also have a various plan options, like some company might create your website and then host it also. Some company only host it. Some company, they only create the web server service website. So there are different options. You can choose any plan. And also they make sure that your information is secure within the server. That means like any unauthorized person cannot access your informations or any other anyone's informations. Also, they have like improved level of hardware so that the request response time can be smooth, faster, and the performance is up to mark. And flexibility means like it's flexible, you can access from anywhere in the world with your any plan you choose to access the web service. So those are like some benefits for having the web server. So what are the components of the website? So everyone knows like what is the website. What are the components of the website?
The address, first of all, the name and address.
So there are like three basic components of the website. You should have the URL.
The domain name.
URL means your domain name, like google.com. And then you should have the hosting service. That means where those websites files are stored. And then you should have a CMS, like what you use to edit or update your site without coding. So like a WordPress or Elementor. Those are the some tools or softwares where you don't need to write a code to create your website. This kind of like given, you can drag and drop and you will create your websites. So those things are combined elements, components of the website. To create your website, you should have a domain, hosting, and CMS. So there are like different kind of website extension, like .org, .com, .net, .in,
US.
or
Now
.us.
US now, yeah.
Yeah. So those kind of
EDU.
edu.edu, like which is like educational sites normally use .edu. .org uses like different organizations, big organizations, they use .org. And .net normally used by network service companies who do the networkings. And .com is a generally everyone use, whether you are doing a
Commercial thing.
commercial or you're doing a online shop or anything else. It is like common.com. So for this like server-side language, they use like XML, JavaScript, PHP, or CSS, HTML5, all these things. Those are the server sets. Scripting language, those installed on the web server to perform. And yeah, those are basic components for the website.
Can you please tell a little bit more about hosting and CMC?
Hosting. Yeah, so hosting is nothing but the files you need to store. Is a kind of a storage, the place where you will store your files. So if you're writing, if you're doing like google.com,
C drive, just like this.
yeah, like you save your file on the C drive or desktop, right? Or a drive,
Yeah.
or in your some external devices, right? In the same
Pen drive
way,
or hard drive, yeah.
yeah. So in the same way, the web hosting is like the companies have like higher end servers and storage system and that RAMs, all these processors where you store those files and access those files from that server. I mean, you can make your own computer and make it as a web server and host it and run it. But you need to maintain certain things like performance, the security level, the disk space, the RAM, the higher processor, all these things. And also you should have a backup because if your main server crashes, you should have your information on the other server. So that's why like people go to the hosting companies where they can store their files securely. And they can access it from anywhere in the world. So they have like, it's kind of like they have a setup in different places to secure your files. So in that way, it will not get lost. If anyone site maybe like it got fired and everything is damaged. So they have like other 3-4 sites where they get the same thing, same file, your files. So still you can access it, and they can also take a copy and make another setup and put the files there. So it's a huge investment to do a web hosting company. That's why people don't do themselves. They go to the web service company. So GoDaddy, then Blue Hearts. There are like a lot of web hosting companies where you can choose and host it. So they take like monthly, maybe $12, $20. It's per plan base. And some company have that website. Creating website is free. When you take the hosting plan, they'll also create the website for you. Some company they only create the website that doesn't host it. So you have to go like 2 different companies. One company who's creating your website, one company who's hosting your website.
How about those cookies?
Cookies are the some files like when you are going to any internet site, right? They use cookies. Like it's kind of like some files they use to manipulate their site. So that's
But
like
if
some
you
log
don't see
files.
that,
They create some log files. They create some log files, which they will
Okay.
have the activities you are doing within the website.
Yeah, sometimes they ask you to, you have to accept the cookies.
Yeah.
order
So
to see
there
the
is some
website, right?
permission. Some website they take a permission that they will put all these activities in the log file with your permission. Yeah. Who Hassan asked the question? Web hosting or Arman?
Yeah, I have the question.
Okay.
Thank
Any more question you have?
No. Thank you.
Okay. So there are like when you create a website, there are like some components to make your website better. You should be, you should follow these things when you're someone creating a website. One is like the purpose and clarity. So when you're creating any website, you should have your purpose and clarity, like why you're creating your website and what purpose you're creating on it. So those should be outlined. That goal should be outlined on your website. Like you're creating a online shop and you haven't said your purpose or clearly defined your purpose, like what is this website? People might not understand like what is the website for. So you have to have the clarity and purpose when you create a website. Like if it is an online shop, you have to clarify that this is an online shop. You are selling something, some products, or this is educational site where you are providing education information. The usability. So visitors to your site are to find the information they need or want. So usability means like the website should be created in such a way that user can navigate through the information or they can find the information they're looking for.
Like
You just created a
user-friendly.
website, but you don't have enough information. That website will not get through anywhere.
So,
Yes,
to kind of make it like user-friendly.
Yeah, so it should be user-friendly, but like the navigation should be easier and visible. If I'm looking for a shoe to buy from that website, the shoe should be visible to me, right? Or it should be a searchable, where I can search the shoe and it should show me all the shoes. So if there is no search mechanism within your website or any input for the search, it's not a usability, it's not serving the usability because the user cannot search the shoe from your website. So your user is not user friendly. User focused. So content of the website should be written for the visitor, not for you. So you want to convince the visitor to do something, and that something could be to go to their products and service page or contact you, right? When you want the visitors to do something, it's known as a call to action. Like call to action means like, if I'm looking for buy a shoe, I'll go to the website that sells shoes, not the website that provide me education. So there is like purpose of clarity. So the content on the website should be written in such a way that visitors can read, see, and then it will feel that, okay, I can buy from there here, or I should buy these things. So it should give you the visibility. It should give you the clear content. So the visitor can take the action. So that is called a call to action. So user focused. It's like, so I'm a user. I'm trying to buy a shoe. I'll be focusing on that website that has sells shoes. Because their website clearly says that we sell these products.
The
Another
website name
indication
has
is,
to,
yeah,
the website name should tell you what they have inside the content
Yeah.
also.
yes. Like when you're saying google.com, there's a general google.com. We know. So if you're selling the shoes, it should maybe the website domain name itself can say the name, what they're doing. That can represent with seeing the name of the domain, you can tell that what is the company for, what they're doing. Is it an educational company, is it online product shop, or it's a network company, or it's a general things. That is another big factor, the domain name. So that's why, like when you are selecting your domain website name, you should be selecting the purpose it serves. The name should be like similar. Ease of update and content management. So one of the obvious key components of your site is appearance, like design, right? Your design should also be eye-catching or not like very kind of like a very fancy that gives in one page, maybe it's giving all the information, but by doing that, your website homepage should not look, it will not look good. It will look like a zigzag or, too many information in the page. So your homepage or your website page should have maybe a simple design, but pretty readable and eye-catching. The appearance should like standard. In a professional way, you should present your website in a professional manner. And SEO and analytics. SEO is a search engine optimizations that will help drive traffic to your site. And in addition, it's having a relevant site content will connect you with a new customer. So one of the most important thing in the website is the SEO. So if you can do the SEO for your website, then you will get more visitors. Anyone have any idea how?
No, that's
SEO
our
works?
last now.
So SEO is a search engine optimization, right? So whenever you're going to the computer, you're opening a browser, you're writing maybe I want to buy a shoe, and click it on the search engine like Google or Bing or some other search engines, it will give you the list of companies or list of websites, right? One by one. So maybe company C is showing on top of first, and maybe company D is showing on second, company A is showing on third. So you'll get all the list or whoever is selling those products shoes. So why company C is on top list and why the company A is on the third list? That is determined by the SEO. Because when you create the content, you have a relevant keys or like product names on the pages. So those are called hashtag. Hashtag, so using the hashtag, you can define those keys. So when people search, write the keyword, it will pick your website as a priority because the content is similar with your keyword that people are searching. So the website which is have a SEO more, they will appear in the first rank, and then vice versa, it will come second, third, fourth.
So you can pay them, the search engine company, to put you on the top.
Yes, there is a SEO companies who do the SEO for your website. So they will go to your content, they will create the keys, hashtags, so that whenever people are searching, your company will become on the top of the list. So normally what we do, we click first 2 or 3. We see, right? We don't go all the way down to see other companies. So that's how SEO is. SEO is like most important for the website to have more visitors attracted to your website. You can do yourself if you know how to do the SEO, but also there are companies who do the SEOs for your site. Any question?
Yeah, so whenever we search something, sometimes we also see that the company like name display based on their rating. Like usually it shows like 4.9 and then 4.7. So is this one of the like no system of the SEO or it just by how we pay?
So rating is a different, like the search engine searches the sites in different way. It can search by rating, it can search by SEO, that key content. It can search by, you can search the companies like more views people see. So there is different way you can search it. So the search engine have the algorithm. It has algorithm, the way it picks the sites. So all this algorithm have all these contents goes through together, and then it takes all the information and then process it and see which is like coming on the top. And that's how it will show you.
Can we determine like how you would like to see, or it just come automatically?
No, it will mostly it will come when you do the SEO, like content, create the content, and when you have that hashtag, all these keywords on that contents, that's how the SEO comes. Rating is a different thing. You can search by rating also, you can search by views also, that's different thing. But normally SEO works with your hashtag and content. The more keywords you have, the more keywords people are searching on the net. So those kind of keywords you should have on your content.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, then we'll go to the protocol.
So what is the number 7? So the number 6 was SEO, like the 7 components. What is the number 7 one?
The analytics, SEO analytics.
Oh, so it's combined. 6
Yeah,
and 7
SEO
is combined.
analytics.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, got it.
You'll see the analytics, like how your website is performing, how many people are seen, how many users you have, how many views you have, how many clicks you have. All those are analytics you can see. And through the analytics, you can see how your website is doing. Protocol, you guys know what are protocols. So what are the network protocols? There are like 7 layers of the protocol in the network. So first one is physical layer. Then you have a data link layer. You have a network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Each layer have a different tasks they perform within network protocol. And whenever you're sending the request to the web server, it goes through the different layers of the network protocol. It doesn't go all of the layer, it goes some of the layer based on the information, the response you are sending, and based on the response it is giving. So physical layer, what is the physical layer? It transmits raw bit stream over the physical medium. So physical layer is like when you're responding, the computer get the signals like 0 and 1. It streams through the physical medium. It takes like response and send it to the process by its machine language 0, 1. Data link layer, it defines the format of the data in the network. So data link layer is defining how the data will be received and how the data will be sent to the web browser back. Those kind of information goes through the data link layer. A network layer, it decides which physical path the data will take. So network layer decide like which path it will take, which route it will take to send the request to the client and which way it will receive the request from the client to the web server. So there might be a 10 paths it can travel, right? The data can travel maybe 10 paths. But it will network layer will decide which route, which path should choose from that 10. And it will send the data on that path, route data on that path, and for send and receive. Transport layer is transmit the data using transmission protocol, including TCP and UDP. So transport layers is like it takes the data from the client to the server, and it's take the data from the server to the client back. Like transport is like kind of like a bus or car. The session layer, it maintains connections and is responsible for controlling ports and sessions. So session layers is responsible for connecting or keep the connection with your client and server. So if the connection is lost, you will not get the data, or it will not get the response back, or the server will not get the request, what you requested. So keep that connections and maintain it. There's the session layer job. Presentation layer, it ensures the data is the usable format and is where the data encryption occurs. So presentation layers is like how your data should be presented to you. How should it look like? What format it look like? PowerPoint is a different way you see the information. In the Word, Microsoft Word, you'll see the information different way. So those are like presentation layers job to ensure the format is correct when the represent the data to the client. And also, if there is encryption, like protected mode, it will also take that measure. An application layer is a human computer interaction layer where application can access the network services. So, like if you are like accessing any application And that application is communicating through your computer to the server. So those are the application layer job, like whatever you're inputting from your keyboard or mouse or any other external devices, through any application, it takes that request and through the application layer, it travels to the client to server and get the response back to you. So those are the main 7 protocols layers that through which the data take the request and response back from the client to server, server to client. Any question here? So, there are a lot of protocols, HTTP protocol, FTP protocol, SMTP protocol, TCP, IP protocol, right? So TCP is Transfer
Yes.
Control Protocol. IP is called Internet Protocol. What is the Internet Protocol? So Internet Protocol is the network layer communication protocol, the Internet Protocol suite that delivers datagram like basic transfer units across network boundaries. It routing function enables working and is essentially established the internet. So without IP protocol, you cannot connect your internet. So in simpler word, like internet protocol is the protocol or set of rules that govern the routing of data packets, such as that it travels across the network and reaches its desired destinations. So through this, when you are doing anything online, this IP protocol's job is to take the data and decide how the data will travel throughout the network to the destination or from destination to the client, back and forth. The IP protocol that gives you that kind of information. Data passing through the internet is divided into smaller pieces known as a packet. So as I said, like when you were sending a request or getting a response, a set of rules, right? Those rules are broken into a small packets, piece of packets. And they have a like header, the body, and the tail. The header parts contains like the network ID, the IP address, and the body is like actual message, and tailor part contains the client information where it should get back again. So the header will be like where you're sending where the response request should go and what are the information you have in the body part, and tail when it's response back where it should respond back. So those are the IP addresses or network ID address are given there. So those data is like passed through the network, it goes to the destination. When it come back, it knows like where it should go, then it carries back to the client again. And each data packet has IP information attached to it, which it helps router send its packets to the correct place. After the packet reaches the respective destinations, they are handled as a part of transport protocol, use the combination of IP. Understand? Or in doubt? So like 192.11.1.11. So this is a IP address. It's nothing but a physical address within their network. Through this number, it can understand where the data should go or which computer they're asking for the information or which where it should request. So your server can have different IP address, your computer will have a different IP address. So when you're sending any request any data, it will take your IP address and also it will take the server IP address. So in that way, the protocol knows that where it came from and where it need to go. And when the information is processed, which is in their body, like it's a set of rules, they are written that do this thing, and this thing, right? And then send it back. So your server knows where to send back because it has also the IP address of the client.
So
Yeah,
that
guys.
192.168.1.1, almost everybody's router had that number. How that thing works?
Mm,
Now,
no, it's
while
not
the
everybody's
192,
number should have. Like if you're using a
160,
router from companies, right? Like Netgear, they will have one IP address, right? For the router. If you're using a Cisco, they will have different IP address. Your computer have a different IP address. My computer will have a different IP address.
Mhm.
Okay,
Every
that's
time-
what I was, sorry,
Go
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask, like, is that matter who creates or how the IP address or the number, like you mentioned, how or who creates that? Is that matter?
You don't create. Normally, it's take from the system.
It's basically like a phone number.
Assigned through the system.
Auto pick.
You can go to the setting and you can edit those IP addresses and make changes.
It does not make any changes.
You can make a changes if you want.
It's not gonna affect the system.
No, then you have to know that IP address. It like when you are editing the IP addresses, right? Normally from the system, it already have the IP address.
Yeah.
When you go and edit the IP address, you can do the IP address, but the IP address might conflict with your system or other IP address.
Yeah.
So it's not wise to edit it because the system generates through its own way to, and you can use their IP address. So if you're editing,
Okay.
your other device might have the same IP address, and then your system will be clash.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Anyone have any question? So the Internet Protocol addresses the host interface enclosing data into diagram and routing diagram from a source host interface to a destination host interface across one or more IP network. So to do this thing, the Internet Protocol defines the format of packets and provides an addressing system. So as I said, like the packet have a informations like body, header, body, and tail. It contains all the informations, processing, what it to process, where it came from, and where it should go back. And it has a two parts, a header and a payload. So header, the IP header includes source IP address, destination IP address, and other metadata needed to route and deliver the datagram. And the payload is the data that is transported. So this matters nesting of the data payload in packet with the header is known as the encapsulation. So normally it's like encapsulated, like data is hidden within the body. So only when it goes to the destinations, it's de-encrypted and it reads the data. Again, when it send it back, it encrypt the data again and then send it back. So in that way, when it's traveling through the network, the data should not get what is it? Like it should not get maybe it's like someone cannot hack the data. So that's why it's encrypted, like secured. When it's response, when the computer is sending the response back to the server, it encrypt. Again, it decrypt to read the informations and process it. Again, when it sends back to your client, it encrypts the data again. Because it's going and coming through the internet, the data can be hacked by someone. That's why it's encrypted data. So no one can hack it. How IP addressing works? So before we look at how IP addressing works, let's take a quick look at domain name system. So DNS, as you said, like domain name system, is a hierarchical and decentralized naming system for computer services or other resources connected to the internet or a private network. It has domain names assigned to each of the participating entities with different information. So here you can see that you have a DNS domain name server, system server, you have a web server, you can have a database server, you can have an application server. So many servers can be connected each other. So when you are throwing some information, requesting some information through the browser, it takes this, you can see here 12.34.56.78, right? So basically, this is the addresses of that example.com. So this number is on the DNS. DNS have this 1.12.34.56.78. So whenever you're sending, you're writing maybe like example.com, it actually goes there and look for their IP addresses. So normally, why, if you write this number, you'll get this website. And if you write the name of the website, you'll get the website. Both way you'll get the website because both are connected. To remember, a human can remember easily the name of the maybe company, but instead of this number, you should maybe not remember, right? So there's for the simplicity, we use the name like example.com, google.com, or microsoft.com. They can, all these names have the IP address associated with it. So when you send the request by writing example.com, it actually goes and searches for the IP address in the DNS server. And then it finds it, and then it receives it, and from the DNS server, when it finds the name, it sends the information to the web server to see whether web server has the file or not. Once it finds the domain name, then it sends to the request to the web server for relevant request information. And once the web server receives the request from the DNS server, it searches for it. If it is there, it takes and sends it back to the browser. And if it doesn't have, it will give you the error message. So this DNS server is decentralized. It's not centralized. The DNS server can be at different places also, not always in the centrally located in the web server. And each DNS server will have the different entities or informations, all the domain names. Clear, or you guys have any confusion here? Any confusion? In a simple way, you make a request, Microsoft.com or Google.com. It takes the IP, it goes to the DNS server, it looks for the IP address on that name associated, Microsoft or Google. Once it's find the name, it sends the request to the web server, whatever you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a price. Before it accesses the price list, it will access whether that Microsoft.com is there or not, the name server is there or not. If there is there, it will send the request to the price list to the web server take the request, and it will send it back to you. If there is no price list, it will send you the error message. That's the simple step. Clear?
Yes.
So there are like different IP addresses like IPv4 and IPv6. What are the difference between IPv4 and IPv6? So these are all internet protocols. IPv4 means like version 4, which is a 32-bit IP address, and IPv6 is a 128 bits IP address. So IPv4 32 bits, it was used earlier, and since IPv4 IP address is almost like booked, you don't have that much IP address for IPv4 you can use. So that's why new IP protocol has been given, which is like IPv6, and this is deployed in mid-20s. So before 20s, it was IPv4. You used to see only IPv4. There is no IPv6. But nowadays we use the IPv6. So those are different kinds of internet protocol. TCP/IP, so transport control protocol and IP internet protocol. The transmission control protocol is one of the main protocol of the internet protocol suite. It is originated in the initial network implementation, in which it complemented the internet protocol. Therefore, the entire suite is commonly referred to as a TCP/IP. So TCP/IP, like TCP, is one of the main protocol within the protocol suite, which connects to the network implementation, and it's complemented to the internet protocol IP. So together we call it TCP/IP. TCP and IP are the separate protocols that works together to ensure the data is delivered to its intended destination within the network. So both make sure that the data you are requesting is delivered to the server, and also you get the response back from the server. IP obtains and defines the IP address of the application or device that the data must be sent to. The TCP is then responsible for transporting and routing the data through the network architecture and ensuring it gets delivered to the destination application or device that IP address. So IP address is, IP protocol is like defining the IP address of the or network address of the destination or client, and TCP is responsible for transporting the packet by choosing the routing throughout the network and delivered to the destination application for process. And once it's processed, again TCP protocol takes it back to the client through their network route. Together it calls TCP/IP suite protocol. Clear? Any doubt?
Can you repeat again, please?
Okay, so TCP and IP both are the separate protocol. TCP is a transmission control protocol, and IP is the internet protocol, right? Commonly, both of them call as a IP suite, TCP/IP. TCP/IP protocol's job is to define the IP address, the request we're sending, the sender IP address, and destination IP address. And TCP, this protocol job is to carry that information, the packet, throughout the specific route from the client to the server. When it gets processed, it takes back from the server to the client. Clear?
Yes.
So together we call it the TCP/IP protocol. So there are some common IPs today you can use, like TCP, UDP, BGP. So TCP is a transport protocol. It determines the way data is sent and received. And another core member of the internet protocol suite is UDP. Widely used transport protocol, and while it is faster than TCP, it is less reliable. So TCP and UDP do the same thing. They transport the data from client to server, but TCP is more reliable than UDP. UDP is not that much reliable. A communication protocol is a rule system that lets two or more entities of a communication system or to transmit information via any kind of variation of a physical quantity. FTP, as we said before, file transfer protocol, and SMTP is simple mail transfer protocol. So file FTP is a protocol which is responsible to upload and download the files. Through the FTP, you can upload or download the files from various network. And SMTP, whenever you're using mail system, any mail Outlook, Google or Yahoo or whatever, you should have the SMTP server address given there, so that the mail can be, the communication can be provided. If you don't have a SMTP server address on your mail system, you will not get the mail. You will not receive, or you cannot send or receive the mails. So this SMTP is for the communication protocol, and FTP is for the file transfer protocol, which is responsible to upload and download the files. And there is another protocol called BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, is the postal service of the internet. When we drop a letter into mailbox, the postal service processes the mail and pick the first division. It's kind of like a UPS. So efficient route to deliver that letter to. Similarly, when we submit data via the internet, BGP looks at all the route path that data could travel and select the best route. So whenever we are requesting something, the data, BGP that looks which route the data should go, and it selects the best route, like which is a network free, doesn't have too much network traffic. It chooses the best route to send the data and receive the data from back and forth. Clear? So those are like some of the internet protocols used today for different reasons, for mail, email, for file upload, download, for internet connection, all these things. Clear, guys? Okay, let's take 15 minutes break. We come 35, 40, 50, 11:50.